Indeed, for the host uncle, bringing your way live and direct, unbiased reportage of events as it hot today. Of course, the Nigerian socio-political cycle has been a very interesting moment here. And here we are to discuss about, of course, sack the infidel. Of course, it's rocking. That is the gate or the saga sack the infidel. Who is the infidel? Uh, Despite the fact that Nigeria, as a secular society, is not imbibing, of course, the true democratic norms, where the supposed citizens are likened to be infidels in their own country by the same supposed, of course, citizens, fellow citizens, are classifying the other citizens to be infidel because of religious bigotries and sentiments. How do we address this anomaly? It has become, of course, a very devastating psychological defects, working and destroying, of course, the essence of our existence as humanity and as a people. How could someone, because of religious intolerance, call someone, describe him as an infidel, and have nothing to do, of course, when it comes to political issues? It's quite unfortunate. We have with me here, of course, an esteemed comrade and national analyst who is here to do justice to this very pertinent issues, because it has become an issue of national concern, an issue that has not been addressed for quite a long time now, and it has had some devastating consequences on existence as a people and how, of course, other regions have been perceived. This now involves the former governor of Rivers State, who happens to be, of course, in charge of the Abuja, uh, whatever you call it. Good morning, Mr. Da.
Yeah, good morning.
It's a pleasure having you this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, there have been another call to sack Wike, who is in charge of the FCT, of course, region of Federal Capital Territory, liking him to be an infidel, a man that needed to be dealt with and do away with. How do you see it in the light of the current realities unfolding within Nigeria?
Yeah, thank you. You know, when I was appointed as the FCT minister, uh, somebody from the south, and perhaps that will be the first time that is happening. Then, personally, I knew he was going to begin to have issues, or he will soon begin to have issues with the establishment, especially the people from the north. Don't forget, it is the northern part of the country that has always, for a very long time, if not since inception of Abuja as the capital city of Nigeria, it is the northern part of the country that has always coordinated the affairs of things as Minister of FCT. This time around, Shuaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu appointed and Nyesom Wike as the FCT minister, and some of the things, some of the policies, knowing Wike for who he is a man that always want to be seen in terms of whatever thing he want to do. Is a man that is daring in terms of going about whatever he believes in very boldly and all of that. So I'm not too surprised that such calls is coming from that angle in terms of the fact that they should sack him. Don't forget when he came on board, he also found that the headers that are moving their cows across the city of Abuja and all of that. So I mean, immediately Allah can never be at uh, on the same page with Wiki with that policy and all of that. So these are some of the other steps he has taken so far. He has threatened to withdraw some licenses or revoke some lands. He has threatened to demolish some buildings that are not in line with government regulations and all of that. So, because they have always been used to having things their own way and all of that, anybody challenging that would definitely not be in their good books. And I think that is why such calls is coming out.
Do you think that the president could listen to such sentiments at this time? Because Wike has not done perhaps anything that should warrant his sack, of course, by his principal. It is not captured or encapsulated in the constitution. The issue of this infidel in Nigeria has been as long as Nigeria. So how do we address it in the light of the constitution, which allows freedom of worship or religion or expression of opinion or thought by an average Nigerian citizen? But when it comes to this, some group of people are taken for a ride and psychologically and emotionally, of course, abused by calling them an infidel, and you know what that means.
To your first question, if the president will yield to that call, well, I don't see that happening. In my view, it might be his principal might caution him in some areas for political reasons. Now, don't forget, the northern part of the country cannot be ignored when it comes to politics because they have the numbers. So anything that will anger that part of the country, politicians, we always want to be careful about it. So in my estimation, I think it might be caution that his principal, not openly do, it might be cautioned secretly. So in order not to have friction with that part of the country. As regards the infidel thing that you talked about, we have established that Nigeria is a secular state. The constitution is clear about it. There is freedom of worship. The the core of infidel of any citizen, for me, I think is unnecessary. As long as the person is not in line with our own religion, that doesn't make them an infidel. And that is why we must continue to emphasize and remind such categories of people in case they are forgotten that this country as of today is a secular state and people have the right to practice any form of religion that they deem fit.
And what do you think the security operative should have done? Because it's a flagrant violation of people's fundamental rights. No citizen has the right to abuse the rights, of course, of any other citizens when it comes to religious affinity and expression. So, don't you think that the security operative should have arrested this Gumi and to serve as a deterrent, because such might degenerate into anarchy and, of course, widening the already battered state.
Well, I don't see that happening. I don't see anybody arresting Gumi. Gumi has said worse things than that in the past. Not even being called for questioning by security agencies. So as usual, I don't expect much from that end in terms of him being invited or arrested. None of that is likely to happen. Whatever he has said, he is likely to get away with it,
But that's the
and
point,
that's my
is
view.
divisive and mischievous. It can degenerate into something we might not control.
I've just told you my view concerning that. He has said worse things in the past, and nothing was done.
And nothing was done, which means possibly does it mean that Gumi appears to be above the law, above the constitution, or perhaps might be just singing the expressing some opinions of the power brokers from the northern hemisphere.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Well, Well, thank you so much. The last one, by Monday, the Supreme Court will be giving judgment regarding the most controversial election, presidential election. Finally, of course, that will be rest, of course, the rest by Monday. What do you anticipate? There are tensions and, of course, apprehensions.
Well, I don't think any judgment is coming on Monday from what I heard. I think what is happening on Monday is for uh, Atiku, Obi, and the other third guy to come and present whatever new evidences they have to the Supreme Court. I think that is what is happening on Monday. The judgment day may likely be at a later date, which is yet to be announced by the Supreme Court. So we look forward to all of that happening. And it's an interesting time, Nigeria.
It's an interesting time. Well, let's continue to hope and watch as things unfold. It's a pleasure having you. Thank you for a
Thank you.
wonderful submission.
Thank you.
Comrade, I really appreciate this wonderful moment share with you. Yeah, Austin fans, it's been an interesting moment. We are discussing and analyzing deeply, of course, the issues bordering on the socio-political and the economic sphere within this Nigerian social, of course, political system. Well, let's continue to watch for Gumi calling the FCT minister and Infidel is becoming of the northern political elites, possibly just to push their agenda or political interests, which they feel seems to have been jeopardized. Their interest is somehow not protected, and they thought, of course, the only way they could is to reap sentiment, religious sentiments, and get the sympathy of some gullible northern people. But the reality is that what Nigerians need is true democracy and dividends of democracy to be delivered to them, regardless of who mans such office. The North, of course, will not feel better either if only the northern, of course, extortions occupy those Abuja ministers, of course, Minister of Federal Capital, Minister Territory. It is quite unfortunate, but this has bred some level of acrimony. Sentiments have been built up over the years, and these are realities where some poor citizens are considered infidels, and this is not in the interest of national unity, cohesion, and coexistence, because when people felt or got threatened and are not recognized, when people are described with such derogatory statements and abuse of their rights of existence as a people, and of course, without any respect to their right or of religious affiliations and expression. It means there is great danger. Of course, that portends great danger, and it's just a disaster waiting, buying time to happen. And we must, at this time, seek to address this abnormally. We cannot keep silent over such pertinent issues until disaster looms. There have been several reasons, of course, why we should act now and very fast, because it should become an issue of national concern, and attention should be given by all concerned humanity, because I've never seen a society where there is so much divisiveness and acrimony built up and sustained by most political elites and exposed persons who should know better, and which should not in any way violate the fundamental rights of the solo fellow citizens. But the case, of course, is different here, and we must seek to address this abnormally, because the set time is now. We can't continue to build a very destructive system that does not encourage, of course, or promote coexistence, and expect, of course, to move forward as a people, expect to coexist without any rancor and building up resentment. We cannot be dismissed, regardless of the fact that I may have my reservations about him. But the reality is that if it is on the basis of sentiments, a whipping of sentiments, religious sentiments, or tribal sentiments, I think the president or whoever, of course, is concerned should not lead to such a call for his sack or resignation. Yes, of course, it is about any society that wants to move forward, but it's sure fairness, equity, of course, for all are sundry, regardless of where you are coming from and where or your ethnic nationality or religious affiliations. Is quite necessary at this time. We cannot continue, of course, to tolerate that. Otherwise, we are calling for a very catastrophic incident that may rock us as a people any moment from now. It is quite interesting. Let's know what is your own take regarding these pertinent issues here. How could a simple fellow citizen describe his fellow citizens as infidel and without being squeezed or questioned by the DSS and other relevant security authorities? It's not unfortunate. It appears that there are some, of course, reluctance on the part of the concern, of course, security operatives to arrest such abnormality and the caution whosoever is promoting such hate among different ethnic nationalities, because this is just a time bomb waiting to explode. And when that happens, of course, nobody can tell the extent of damage. And Mr. Lee, you are welcome. Let me have you as you come here to express this very important issues. That you have a Islamic background. Let's know why some Islamic scholars, of course, are so, of course, radical in their approach and statements. How could you describe your fellow citizen being a radical or infidel? It's not unfortunate, but then I just sample the feelings of Nigerians and watch how they react or respond to these pertinent issues, because it has become an issue of national concern, and as such should not be dismissed just by a wave of hand, because the realities here, of course, is starting at us, and as God will have it, we must address these nagging issues. Otherwise, disaster will definitely loom. And whatever happens, I tell you, it will not, of course, be palatable, because all are sundry must, of course, rise at this time to address this very destructive notion that has been propagated by some, of course, Islamic scholars, and the government or appropriate authorities should learn how to caution them to avoid this spiral out of control, because nobody will want to accept such, or such will not be forced on anyone. Of course, if really we have any interest of building any co-parent society or environment where people should, of course, be made to live their life and express themselves in the most, of course, interesting manner and moment here. Yes, esteemed fans, let's watch. This is an issue of great concern and must be given priority over the circumstances happening. Why should, because of religious sentiments and political interests, a group of particular regions described as infidel because they do not share the same religious affiliations, does not in any way, of course, change their status from normal human beings which has the right and the choice to make when it comes to their political future and religious inclinations. It is rather unfortunate that up to now, Gumi has not been invited by any non-state security operatives. I wonder what is happening and why is such, or is Gumi appearing more stronger and powerful than even this instrument of the state, or the constitution, which speculates that everyone has a right to his political expression and opinion are captured by the Constitution. How should such, of course, at this time be jettisoned without any recourse to the rule of law? And the Constitution, which empowers and allows everyone within Nigeria to have freedom of expression, has been described as a secular state. But in practice, sometimes it appears that some religions are more preferred or more recognized by the state or those within the corridor of power than the others. And as such, uh, that is why some people can make such unguided utterances and, of course, get away with it without having any recourse. And nobody questions or challenges the audacity of course, of such or the effort to make such a statement. What right does Gumi or any other person have to describe any section of the country as infidel? That is a fundamental question we have to review and emphasize here because it has become a very important issue of national, of course, importance and concern. Well, let's continue to watch as people begin to express themselves. It is quite unfortunate as we wait for one of the esteemed fans, of course, to make these wonderful submissions. In the next or subsequent editions, there will be a link for you to contribute and participate in these discussions so that you'll be more interactive. Let's have your own view over issues happening here because this affects everyone. And most recent, there have been some religious, of course, crisis that resulted to the death of some citizens, and especially that of Rebecca, who was, of course, lynched and killed because of some discrepancies of her utterances, or so to say. But she was killed without any help coming to her. Even where the security operatives claim that they were empowered, overpowered by the radicals, Islamic radicals who came, of course, and lit her and burnt her alive. So these are things that have been happening, and it appears no one wants to address such fundamental issues. And of course, to this end, it has gotten to the politicians, not just the ordinary men on the street, calling them infidel. Imagine, within the seat of power, could that be the reason why the born to do mentality has been, of course, one of the major cog in the wheel of Nigerian progress? That if you are not from a certain sect or religious, of course, sect, you will not be allowed to participate in most political offices, or occupy such offices because you have been described as an infidel. Then how do we continue to claim to be one under such circumstances where most people are not given the opportunity to express themselves religiously and politically? It is rather unfortunate, but the reality is here, of course, and has caught up with us. Good morning, sir. And that is quite unfortunate indeed. We must not keep quiet until disaster keeps looming, looming, and it has getting to the, of course, the political class, and now let's watch how such will be treated because we are just seeing the beginning of a turbulent moment, so to say, as far as the FCT minister is concerned, and some interest groups are calling for the sack of the current FCT minister. Could that be generated to another, of course, a sectional war or acrimony when nobody knows? And yes, Mr. Charles, you are here to speak on this issue. You've been in the north and you understood of course, happening within the north.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chigozendibo. Thank you very much. My name is Charles.
Sheikh Gumi said that the infidel should sack being the FCT minister. You can imagine that. What do you have to say?
Who said that?
Sheikh Gumi.
Sheikh Gumi should go and sit down. Is it, do you think, yes, well, sometimes whatever that is happening, Weekend is a PDP member, and everybody knows about that, and you should well be assured and very well, very well that most of these politicians are nothing but what I might call a shawo. They are prostitutes, you know. So you don't blame them. Everybody is running Leicester to join a ruling party. A ruling party, a party that is still on the power. That's exactly what Wike does. But somebody like Gumi should go and sit down. Let's, among all the ministers that this man has been able to put in place, who has been working among all of them is not Wike. I am not disputing the fact that Wike is a good man or is a bad man, but honestly, let's tell ourselves the truth. I grew up in the north. You know that even to today, I have not even forgiven all these northerners for killing my parents, because my parents were among the victims that were murdered during crisis. One of the crises, religious crisis. I am, you know, I might call myself an adult orphan simply because I lost them on a crisis in Plateau State. So I am not happy. So somebody like Gumi should go and sit down. He doesn't know what he's saying. Among all the ministers that our president has appointed and have been put in place, who among them is working more than Wike? So let him go and sit down. They should not bring sentiment into our Nigerian politics. That's exactly what they are doing. So let him go and sit down. Let him rest. Allow everybody. And is it the president of Nigeria? The answer to that is no. The president have decided to bring in somebody he thought that can give him whatever he wants. Wike, yes, even me, I was not even in support of Wike going into assessing and even accepting an offer from the APC member. But today, Wike decided to do that because you don't have to blame him. He is also among the people, the president himself deemed it fit that these are the kind of people he wants to work with. And who are you, Gumi? Go and sit down. What has been done to you is actually working. I am not here. I am not saying that I'm in support of whatever the cross-carpeting everything. But remember, Wike have not even come out openly to say to you or to tell you that he has cross-carpeted to APC. So Gumi should go and sit down. That is how they bring sentiment into Nigerian politics.
Who empowers you to classify particular region to be infidel?
That is
the constitution.
You mean Gumi, right?
Another goal. Yes.
Yes.
I've been a radical Islamic scholar.
I know him very well.
I've been, of course, before the public domain for some quite a time now.
I know.
What audacity? What
that is the audacity. It has no constitution. Nigerian constitution have never for one day gives you any right to call any tribe. We have, one of the major tribes we have in Nigeria is Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba. But that doesn't mean that you should see somebody from National State calling a gun, somebody from Ghana, and you call him a minority, or you call him an infidel. Nigerian constitution have never said that. Nigerian constitution says as long as you are under Nigerian and you were born and brought up here, paid from this place, you are nothing but a bona fide citizen of this country. So I don't know where most of these politicians are bringing in their own sentiment called doctrine. I call it sentiment. Forget about doctrine. I call it sentiment because that is exactly what they are bringing in place. You cannot call someone. It's just like, let's assume that my mom, let's assume now that my father married two wives and then he gave birth to the other wife, gave birth to two kids, and my mother gave birth to me. Do I have any right to call the other one infidel? That they are not my father's son? So somebody like Gumi should go and sit down. Like I said earlier, Mr. Chigoze, that is how they bring sentiment to Nigerian politics. That is how they bring problem to themselves, thinking that they want to create problem within ourselves. All these people are Nigerians. We came from Akalia Ikwere. Ikwere is, who is he? Who is Gumi to even come out here and openly say to Wike that he should go and sit down and utter a word to somebody like Wike? So that is the problem we are having in Nigeria. They are sentimental, and at times you look at them as if they are even under the intoxication of alcoholism.
And don't you think that they have some political interest to protest? So haven't seen that they are losing out, and the only way to gain attention is to whip religious sentiments. Perhaps some vulnerable Northerners will begin to sympathize with them and take that path. But ever since Abuja became a federal capital territory, the North has been producing ministers of
FCT, everybody was here.
what impact has they made to the average life of the Abuja citizens? Because we still have poverty-stricken communities, which unfortunately most of them doesn't even have lights, doesn't have drinking water, potable water, good roads. So of what political interest is that to them, even when they have the power, they are not used it for the welfare of the people.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chigozie. You remember RFI was the former FCT minister, and we have a lot of them coming out from the north, like you rightly said. Gumi should go and sit down. We are wise enough. Nigerians' eyes are open. You cannot bring religious sentiment into Nigerians and you expect them to go and start fighting each other. We are wiser and wiser and wiser enough right now, and they will know exactly what we are doing. Gone are those days when you look at him because he's an Islamic scholar, or he's a Christian scholar. Or, as a Christian, he's a scholar in Christianity, or he's a scholar in Islam. Once he utter a word, everybody will follow. But now, I believe that a lot of Nigerians are much more educated. Anything that comes out from the mouth of most of these people, you have to weigh it out in two different angles, whether it's too sentimental or not. Because gone are those days when they utter a word, the next thing everybody will do is just to go on the street and start fighting. So we are wiser now. So let him go and sit down. Bringing religious crisis into our Nigerian politics is not going to work. That is not what should be in place. We are supposed to live in a country whereby a Hausa man can come to Igbo land and become anything he wants to become. We are praying one day that an Igbo man can go to the northern part of this country, India state, and become whatever he wants to become as one of their members in that particular state. So everybody should wear away. They should go out, move out with most of this sentiment they are giving us, because that is not what we're after.
The political when Buhari was there, almost all the appointments, 95% of the appointments were from the north, and they didn't kick against it. They didn't call the attention of the government then to have some balance, a sense of balance, and of course to ensure equitable distribution. But it always when they react whenever a Southerner is there, and they will want to dictate the tune for such a Southerner. Do you see Tinubu succumbing to such?
I am seeing nothing from Tinubu. Tinubu will never give in for that or to that. I believe and I trust him on that. Remember, I am not even a fan of Tinubu, but on this case, I am in support, and I know that somebody like Tinubu will never give a supportive measure, a clause to that. So all I know is that most of these Ghana people should go and sit down. Whenever they see that things are not working, I have not forgiven them for killing my parents. Let me be honest with you. I have not even forgiven them. But who am I? We are all human. One has to move on with his life. Let me tell you, let them go and sit down. Not when things are not working well with them. Once it matters with what I call political appointment. And once they see that other people are being much more favored, remember, ever since the creation of Nigeria, these people are the most favored people in this country. So let him go and sit down. This is just a man from a minority stock that call himself from River State. And the River State, River State, all these important people, a man that has been given a honorary minister, and you are there commenting, is it because maybe you have decided to touch something that belongs to you? Which is really working. If I have my ways, I will always preach and tell the president himself, hold on to this young man. The man is among one of the best ministers that you have put in place. So let him really go and sit down. We are tired of that rubbish you are telling us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
By Monday, of course, the tribunal will comment, or the Supreme Court will comment hearing of the particular and petition, and whether another additional evidence will be admitted. So, do you expect anything different?
Well, once again, even as the PTC, the Provincial Tribunal Court, I have lost confidence in the Nigerian court, judiciary itself. But who am I? We don't know what is going to come, because whatever that is in a man, everything in a man is subject to change. So we are hoping and expecting that justice will always prevail in Nigerian court. So that tomorrow posterity will need to remember those justices or those judges for good. But you cannot tell me that I should have much confidence in Nigerian judiciary, because I have lost much confidence right from time. These are people who can turn away truth and justice and overturn it to something else. So I have lost confidence in Nigerian judiciary. But what we are praying and hoping is that justice should prevail. Atiku should go and sit and let them rest. What we are praying, anybody that justice, what we are praying between the two parties is that justice should prevail among the two of them. So when anybody interfere with the decision of the court, we are here praying that the right decision should be taken by the Honorable Court of Justice, even as far as we have even lost much confidence with the Nigerian judiciary. But we are hoping, no wahala.
Okay, even you have lost confidence in the Nigerian judiciary process. You might not be expecting anything different. Well, you said there could be change, it's subject to change. Well, this was not let's see first of please kindly give us a thumbs up, like this video, and of course comments as we interact with of course what is happening here today. It has become a national concern, and everybody must ensure that we come to address this without any further ado, because it has caused several damage, and as such we should not in any way continue to watch issues spiral out of hands while we can get them arrested before it becomes too late. Honestly, esteemed fans, we appreciate everyone watching us, wherever you might be watching us. Just let us know where you are watching us from, and of course, give us hit the like buttons, subscribe if you have not done so, and feel free to express yourself on the comment section. These are very important issues of national concern. Of course, the last speaker said the Jagaban will not succumb to such mere threat or propaganda, because he trusted the weak and believed he would deliver on the mandate or assignment given to him, regardless of whatever sentiments or opinions are coming from the northern, of course, quarters. Well, let's continue to watch while this unfolds. We have not seen the end to this. We'll continue to, of course, watch this happen. I've never forgotten, of course, as Gumi walked out of the plenary at the National Assembly, and we're still expecting some updates regarding that. Once we have them, we'll intimate you of the latest developments regarding such, whether such acrimonies or differences have been settled or not. But, well, all boils down to interest. Some people want to protect their interests and, of course, recognize their presence or influence over this position. Well, it's all about interest. Of course, once the interest is served, they will go to rest and smile to the banks. Well, let's watch as things continue to unfold. Since it's the development. And this is quite well, it's an issue of concern. And let's know what is your own take regarding this. On this note, Estate Council, we have less than 5 minutes of to wrap it up. And we come back aware, of course, as we continue to discuss these pertinent issues. Wike, according to submissions made by this analyst, that Wike should not be sacked on the basis of this religious sentiments. It is no longer tenable. According to the last, Mr. Charles said that we are more knowledgeable now and should not let to the gallery. These people could no longer, of course, take advantage of also the issues, but there are more nagging issues that is seeking for the attention of all assembly. One of them, of course, is the Constitution should be reviewed. If the Constitution is reviewed and strengthened, and of course approved by the people, nobody will have the right to call supposed or fellow citizen an infidel. And the Constitution should be firm on the consequences of implication of such. But unfortunately, this is not happening in Nigeria because there is a very serious concern, and such concerns must not be waved off because it will set a precedent and will serve as a deterrent to any other one who may want to take the same line. But if not addressed or cautioned, I bet you we are just buying time, of course, and the disaster might entrap all as sundry. But this will not be in the interest of anyone. Thank you, Aston fans, once again. On this note, we call it a day in today's political rumbles here regarding this particular issue or topical issue this morning. Remember us wherever you may be, until we come your way in the next edition. Okay.